last year. You just see Borja Gomez there. He's on the 9th row of the grid. He was dropped 3 positions due to a penalty for slow riding during qualifying. But what you just saying, he found there, Michael, that we were expecting
take around too much, where it doesn't pay off here so much. So yeah, probably a good track for him to come back after the surgery.
We just saw him on screen there. He's right behind Alonso Lopez. It's Barry Baltus. What have you made of him this weekend?
But Barry's looked good. He looked really good in the last sector, especially when he can carry that corner speed. He's had to miss Austria because he had a broken foot, so he's still carrying a bit that injury into this race here in Catalonia. But he's looked really good in the practice, and his race pace is very good, so he could cause an upset starting from 10th on the grid.
I think to his crew chief, Stefan Kerfis, and he actually said before the injury that they really made a step in Silverstone, and it's typically, but he said he's a real confidence rider. He's always sort of doubts himself a little bit, so you feel like he's just one result away from getting up to that next level and being a podium threat.
Safety car then just doing one final run just a few minutes before the Moto2 race then here at the Catalunya Grand Prix here in Barcelona. We were expecting perhaps hotter temperatures certainly at this stage of the day, weren't we?
Yeah, but way hotter because that sun, we thought it was going to burn through these clouds. It's not done. We've got the cloud cover. I mean, the track temperature is probably 20 degrees or at least 15 degrees cooler than what we expected. The riders have been sat on the line now and they'll be loving it. Knowing this is a sweat box, this place. It holds the heat in this valley just inland from Barcelona. So, yeah, they'll be happy about the cooler conditions. And certainly, tyre-wise, it'll make the job a lot easier.
You said on the track wall with Pedro Acosta, #1 this weekend, but actually, it's not. Yeah, well, I don't think it's his favourite circuit, is it?
No, he actually did say off camera. It's off camera, not off camera. He said off camera, it's not his favourite tracks. He said, believe it or not, he doesn't like flowing tracks. I've never really heard a rider say that before, but he's proved himself right. He's not qualified where he normally qualifies, but it's Pedro Acosta. It's a bit special. Hey, ruling out at your peril, isn't it, really, Pedro?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a fantastic talent, Pedro Acosta, but he's having to do it from the 3rd row of the grid. And his nearest rival, Tony Arbolino, on the 7th row. Your man on pole position, though, is Britain's Jake Dixon. The Moto2 race coming up. I hand you over to
Thank you very much, Natalie. Just the 3rd pole position of his Grand Prix career today. Jake Dixon, the previous ones. Tried to go back Indonesia where he was battling for the lead. Finished on the podium in Assen last year. What can he do from it here in Barcelona? Good afternoon from Barcelona-Catalunya circuit, just a quarter past midday here, and Jake Dixon starts from pole position for the 3rd time in Moto2, looking for that 2nd win alongside him, Aaron Canet. There's 11 second places in his career. Can he convert today? Aldeguer rounds out the front row of the grid. Some threats on row 2, but your championship leader, Pedro Acosta, sits back there on the 3rd row of the grid from the 9th position, so that's going to need some work he needs to do early on. Celestino Vietti's pace is good in the latter stages, but he starts down in 5th. Of course, he was the winner last time out in Austria. Back on the 7th row of the grid is the title rival, title holder, Tony Arbolino. His worst qualifying since 2021. And he's just a row ahead of Warriors in his own decent weekend. And Senna Aegis, who was right in the stand-in for Darren Binder here this weekend. Further back on the grid, Jason Somkiat, the reigning Moto2 champion, who won in Moto3 last year. You just see Borja Gomez there. He's on the 9th row of the grid. He was dropped 3 positions due to a penalty for slow riding during qualifying. But what you just saying, he found there, Michael, that we were expecting clouds were broken by now. It has cooler, just like the Moto3. No time on the track this morning is warmer, and that extra wind behind. How do you see it affecting the Moto2?
Honestly, whenever the track temperature stays a little bit cooler, we tend to have a little bit more grip. So for someone like Jake, who has been strong in the heat in Friday afternoon, but he was strong in qualifying, when it was cooler as well, shouldn't be too worried. It will obviously change the feeling that the riders get, but I don't think the strong riders will be any less strong, let's say. The Dunlop rear tyre copes with the temperatures or the cooler conditions equally well. So yeah, the wind down the back straight is probably going to be the biggest effect, and yeah, just managing the tyre consumption.
And I want to know about fuel consumption like they worked out a different way of setting up the electronics so that it actually worked in the early part.
Yeah, which was interesting to hear. So perhaps a little bit more engine brake to assist the stump on the bank when you've got heavy fuel load. The tuition, the plowing sensation he was getting in previous rounds seemed to be eradicated, which is fantastic news for Jake, because the 1.5 to 2 seconds he was losing in the first 3 or 4 laps made them an uphill task to get back into the very front of the field. So if they fix that and they start from the pole and he does jump well off the line, then everything's sort of aligning well for him.
It's going to be attritional, isn't it? So what about Pedro Acosta coming through? What about Vietti for 15th? What about Arbolino? What do you see from those 3 top runners?
Yeah, honestly, I went through the grid yesterday and I thought there's at least 10 riders who could stand on the podium today. I do think you look at the first 2 rows of the grid and all those guys have the speed, then it is Costa on the 3rd row that could come forward. We know his race pace is fantastic, but then you look at the 4th row of the grid and you think Sam's got really good race pace, late race pace, as does Somkiat Chantra. But then Vietti on row 5, he's coming forward without a doubt. So yeah, I think we're going to be treated to maybe a nutritional race, but a bit of a different sort of an outlook for Moto2.
You have to look at your tyres at the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit, simply because if you go too hard too early, you'll burn them out. As Jake Dixon got it, he showed in Assen that he can have late race pace and go on and win. Can he repeat that today? Can Aaron Canet finally break his duck? And can Arbolino make progress? 20th on the grid. It's Moto2 time here in Barcelona. We've got 21 laps on this brilliant circuit to the north of the city, and we are underway in the intermediate class, and it's a decent start for Jake Dixon as they power down towards turn 1. Also Brian Gura will now come across the track. It's going to be Dixon leading him down to 1 with Gura up into 2nd place. Manuel Gonzalez, he's the threat today. He's there in 2nd. Oh, that's running wide. Is that Arenas, isn't it? Who's run wide there, and he's already behind his teammate from the 2nd row of the grid. Couple of riders up high on the cone, pick up with Chantra, but it's Dixon leading. Gonzalez in 2nd. Ogura in 3rd, and Canet was dropped back to 4th place.
Good jump off the line from Jake Dixon. You've seen from a side-on camera, he was in the real attack position. He means business today, but so does the man in 2nd place, Manuel Gonzalez. I actually think he's going to try and make a move past Jake Dixon here on this opening lap. He sounded really fired up in the grid.
He did. He felt it should have been pole position for him yesterday, although I will say that however much he made a mistake, Jake Dixon was so good, so fast in that latter sector on the racetrack, which bodes well, I suppose, as we go through this race. If you generate a little bit of grip and traction, what happens if your tyres don't necessarily spinning up and you keep more tyres?
It is a conundrum. So yeah, everyone's on the softer option apart from Senna, Gias and Ruiz, so it is the soft option choice in the rear of all the machines. But if you've got your setup that you have a little bit more rear traction, then you don't spin as much, and actually consumption is less, so it is all rider and setup dependent.
Pedro Acosta just looking on the inside of Fermin Aldeguer. Alonso Lopez made a decent start. He's there in 5th place from 7th on the grid. Sam Lowe's made a decent start as well, actually. He's up to 10th spot. But Acosta riding round in 8th behind Fermin Aldeguer. It's still Dixon leading as they come through 13 and into the final corner of turn 40. So it's Dixon who's going to lead across the line from Manuel Gonzalez. Aldeguer there in 3rd. Aaron Canet is 4th with Lopez 5th. And Sergio Garcia making a good start from the 3rd row of the grid in 8th. And Garcia is now up into 6th.
Yeah, Garcia's looked good all weekend, a little bit under the radar in comparison to some, but good race pace and lots of low tension.
That is so tight there for Alonso Lopez. How he got it stopped and how there wasn't a collision, I do not know.
Honestly, when you're sort of sucked in there, you've made the commitment to try the overtake, then you back out of it, that's when you can get into trouble. He didn't do well to pull it up, no contact with the rear wheel of Aaron Canet, it just cost him a couple of tenths of a second.
Here we go, with the change in the lead, Manuel Gonzalez goes through, but Jake Dixon allowed him to do that so he could come back to the inside line and hang on. Gonzalez will try to go again, down into 5, but Dixon's strong to hold off the Spaniard, but you can see Gonzalez lined it up with, actually you can see it working the tyre coming through turn 3 to get that run down to 4.
And he did it again on the exit of 4, he was looking for the move into 5, Jake done really well to protect the inside, he had it quite late on the brakes, the front started to hop, he was on the rear brake, managed to pull it down, drifted a little wide and it gave Manuel a little bit of a sniff down through the kink at 7, it wasn't to be though.
Yeah, but you can see that Gonzalez wants to get to the front and wants to lead this one, but for now Dixon is the best really was even McCain. Alonso takes that inside line, this bike is jumping and hopping all the way down to that tight left-hander. It opens up for 11 and then we go to the sequence with some right-hand corners where Dixon has proved to be strong this weekend.
Yeah, this has been the best part of the racetrack for Jake Dixon all weekend. So fast around these last two right-handers especially. But yeah, I think we're 2 laps in now and Jake's comfortably holding the lead. Normally he does lose a little bit of ground, so I think the progress that has been made with the setup of the bike is paying dividends for him here today.
Gonzalez will he be able to pull out of the slipstream on Dixon as they power down the straight over a kilometre long, 0.6 of a mile, and again on the brakes Dixon holds off and Lopez is through on Agura now, and this time does make it stick. Agura is another one, Michael, who in the latter stages will be strong.
Yeah, indeed, as will Pedro Acosta, who just set the fastest lap of the race. He is on the rear wheel of Sergio Garcia looking for a move through.
Yeah, it's not about these early laps, it's going to be what happens late on. Alberto Sura has got a technical issue and he's retired from the race. I don't know how to really skim on that first lap either, but he suddenly was 1.5 seconds behind. He struggled with his first laps recently. Silverstone was nerfed out. Austria was had to go wide on the first laps and lost a load of time, and he's done it again, unfortunately, because he's got decent pace.
Yeah, could raise pace, but a bit of work to do just to get back across to the Moto3 World Champion Ethan Guevara in 28th. So really a little bit of work to do, but he's looking forward to the test tomorrow on Pirelli tyres and setting up for next season.
Manuel Gonzalez to actually run ball with Aaron Canet. You can see Manuel Gonzalez. What's your tactic here? Do you try and push on the pace yourself, or do you keep it in check, stick behind Jake Dixon and allow the race to come to you?
Honestly, it looks like he wants to pass Jake. He sounded confident on the grid that he had the race pace by himself, but he's going to get attacked by Aaron Canet behind. So on this lap, Aaron's looking to
The grandstand finish without a doubt. It's Canet from Dixon, from Acosta now. Arena style out of it. Norris Gonzalez. This was the move, like
what a lunch from downtown. He didn't want to give it up on that lap. He led across the line. He was third on the braking zone into turn 1. He thought, you know what, I'm not having this today. I went around the outside of Jake on the brakes and then immediately dived Pedro Acosta into turn 4.
I mean, look at it now. Acosta's down to 5th place because Albert Arenas on the chart. But that was a proper lunge, wasn't it, from Aaron Canet on Pedro Acosta. But suddenly Acosta finds himself from leading half a lap ago. He is now down in 5th place. What a Moto2 Grand Prix. Also, Lopez not out of this one yet. He's in behind Acosta. They're all soon going to be riding on fibres at the end of this race as their tyres start to scream towards the end of this 21-lap Moto2 Grand Prix of Catalonia. It's dark overhead. Temperature's not what we expected here, but still there are going to be tyre issues at the end with 4 laps remaining.
Indeed, 4 laps to go, Gav. Who are you thinking? I think Jake's got the run again. He's done it a couple of times on Aaron Canet, but Canet cannot top it out this lap around.
He can't. Dixon does look down the pace. He's got a bit deeper than one on the inside line. When he has Canet comes back round. That's great from Canet, but Dixon feeling like he needed to get in front, because even if you hit there, Canet is just going to attack and attack and attack, and his old teammate is in behind him now. And Albert Arenas having his best ride in Moto2 so far. Look at the riders in behind who are still working, still hoping for a piece of the silverware today, but it's Canet who leads them.
Fastest man on track against Santos. We've seen him in 45-0, 45-1 a few times, but just a little too far back to get involved. He's got the gap to the front down under 3 seconds as it stands.
6 riders in with a home infield with Alonso Lopez there, Sergio Garcia, Agura and Lowe just a little bit back, and Celestino Vietti also coming through, but he's just too far back now at this stage of the race. Again, there's parts of the racetrack where you can see that Dixon feels stronger, but it looks like Canet is getting better drive.
Yeah, but he's working his tyre to do it in the middle of turn 3. Jake trying him at turn 10 this time.
On the brakes, he's got to level him, unblock him, and he's done it. And Dixon takes over, he's going to run a little bit deep, but he uses a bit of tyre to make sure he gets his nose in front again. And I wonder now, with the run down the straight from the lead, if Canet is able to turn it down into 1, well, this is where Dixon, he feels he's got this last sector so sorted, he can keep an advantage and push on and open a gap.
I think you're right, Gav, although Canet staying right on his rear wheel. I think Jake wants to get through a little bit earlier in the lap because he knows if he gets a few corners under his belt, he gets some daylight between him and Aaron Canet.
Canet in the slipstream of Dixon with 3 laps to go in the Catalan Grand Prix. Dixon tight to the inside line down towards turn 1. Has Canet got the run? No, I think that is the point of the race. Whoa! And then a turn between Lopez and Acosta will go out deep there, and he's going to have to ride through. Oh, Lopez rejoins in the middle of the racetrack. He'll get a penalty for that, surely. He's got to follow through as Acosta did and rejoin, because that's considered a shortcut. So Acosta actually, has he lost a second? Because he might also...
Well, he he'll be okay. But yeah, Alonso Lopez does some daft things, I've got to say. He's a quality rider, but yeah, I sometimes question his decision making in the middle of a race.
Right, so this is Dixon now leading with 2.5 to go. This is where the tyres, who's kept them in check best? We're on board with Aaron Canet, still desperate, still searching for that first ever Moto2 Grand Prix victory. As we ride on board to Dixon, can you see, Michael, the difference between, has just got more front tyre perhaps?
Yeah, we forget about the front a little bit. We see he's been careful with the rear especially, but maybe it's the front that will play into his hands in these last few laps.
Just seems to be able to outbrake. That's what he's been able to do early on recent laps into these tighter corners like turn 10. So Dixon, it's on the move as he drops into the closer corner. And behind him, Canet. Arenas in third spot. Where is Acosta now? He's in 6th position. Agura in 7th. Lopez is in 8th and may well get a penalty for that. Who knows? Sanlos still in 9th. Still only 2.8 behind Dixon, who's leading.
I've got to say, selfishly, as things stand, this is great for Jake's Championship Challenge with Pedro Acosta getting nudged out on that previous lap. Once Tony Arbolino struggles down there, although Jake's not going to have it all his own way. These last 2 laps, Aaron Canet is fired up. He wants this Porcino Ponds at his home race and Aaron's first ever Moto2 victory.
Look at the gap that Jake's put in over the last few corners there at the end of this race now. Here we go with 2 to go, and he's got enough of a cushion over Canet. Can Canet find a way through? This is further back down the river at Sergio Garcia, who's motoring. Sergio up to 5th place now and attacking Manuel Gonzalez. There is Acosta, your championship leader, in 6th place. But it looks to me like he's not going to have a shot at victory today, Michael.
No, it's going to boil down to a battle between Jake Dixon and Aaron Canet. Aaron's definitely better on the run from turn 2, 3 and 4. Jake's much better in the last section of the racetrack and in the braking zone of turn 1. So
where would you prefer to be stronger? For me, it would be the last sector.
Yeah, indeed. And I think Aaron's going to be really feisty here, but I think Jake's got a little bit more pace. So yeah, Aaron's going to throw absolutely everything at it this last lap and a half.
We've already seen a lunge, haven't we, on Pedro Acosta. He's not backwards and coming forwards. Canet, he is so hungry for that first Grand Prix victory. It became an albatross around his neck in recent seasons. 11 second places he's had in the Moto2 class up till now, but he's not going to get through at turn 10 on this occasion. Dixon with it a little bit sideways as Garcia comes through on Gonzalez. Dixon leading still from Aaron Canet, from Albert Arenas. Which way is it going to go? Will it be for the Brit or will it be for the Spaniard here in northeastern Spain?
Yeah, Jake's pushing hard. You see them up into turn 9. As he hit the brakes, the rear stepping out. Not a place where he normally goes sideways, but that's because he's attacking full effort into his front tyre.
Every time that front leg comes off the first page from Aaron Canet. Oh, and he twitched from Canet coming into the home straight. 1 lap to go in the Catalan Grand Prix. It's the Brit in front of the Spaniard as they run down towards turn 1, and there is no chance there for Canet. Dixon just needs to keep himself honest on this last lap, sliding all the way down into turn 1, very deep in there. That will give Canet a glimmer of hope here now, especially in this part of the racetrack where he's been so strong. He will get the drive out of turn 3 here, Michael, and maybe into 4. He can have a lunge again.
Jake's got good grip out of here though. Canet's close enough to touch. He's done it a few times this race, but Jake does well on the brakes there to protect the line.
Will he run deep at all and give Canet a look? No, not on this occasion. Has he just got enough right check? They're down into the 44s again, and Dixon has just got enough tyre at the moment to keep his nose ahead of Aaron Canet. Surely for Canet, where is he going to make a move? Is it down here towards 7? He's had a look a couple of times. Not on this occasion.
I think it's only really turn 10 that's possible for Aaron Canet. Maybe a last turn manoeuvre, but Jake was so aggressive into this corner last time around.
Here he goes through turn 9. This is where Canet needs to get the run on Dixon down towards turn 10. Dixon's been strong, but